Lammy.
Madam Deputy Speaker, a few days ago I found myself rushing to switch off the television because my 5- and 7-year-old boys were in front of the news as we saw those images of men, women and children gassed and lying on floors, dead in front of our eyes. It's impossible to have watched events unfold in Syria over the past few years and think anything other than, if not
found issues in terms of child protection. There were some issues with some of the church communities. And then there's a bit like the Somali community, huge fragmentation. So I don't know how your group is working. Are you working across tribes and groups, or are you? This is always the issue.
Yeah, we are working across all sectors of the communities. Yeah, we are working across all sectors of the communities. That's why I started talking about.
How have you achieved that?
By creating this environment first, because we have something that bringing everybody together, having a TV program, for instance, and it is something of interest to the community. And we can talk to everybody, we can get pastors on board, we can get the community leaders on board. And now we are setting this program, we're working it here. We want people to be sending positive messages that encourage young people, that leads families and leaders in the community the right pathway, and showcasing the positive work we've done so far.
Who are the biggest role models then in the Congolese community at the moment?
Football stars. We've got Fabrice Mwamba. That's massive in the community. But Eddie Kadi, that's a comedian as well. So you know, again, that's the whole point, because you know, the young people actually looking up to those individuals, and it was quite important for us to actually associate ourselves. We're actually planning to do some kind of a gathering where those individuals can actually come and just talk about their journey. And again, it's just to point to the young people that there is more. If you're not good at studying, you can also perhaps play football. You can be a comedian. You can be so we can actually show that various different opportunities for those young people.
And again, getting the
I'd very much like to come to an event for the. I haven't done one because it hasn't happened. Which is slightly worrying. But no one has managed to pull together. I've never been invited to a genuine, large-scale Congolese event.
You have the opportunity.
I mean, I've been to lots of churches and individuals. I'm not. It's never happened. I've done. I say there are other communities that have had similar problems, but I've done lots of relatively, say, Somali Achievement Awards and those sorts of things, but never Congolese. So
I think the event we're talking about, the last Congolese Achievement Award, it happened here in Selby Center.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a large gathering.
Yeah, you've got to try and fix the data around it.
Yeah. We for the next program of the event, we make sure that we get you informed and we get you involved, and that will be a good contribution for us. And again, we're getting young people into the opportunities that we is offering. Last summer, we participated in the challenge program. It was very, very positive. And the last one was, I think, 1 week ago with the volunteering day. We brought some of the young people here. This is the example we are showing for the young people. It is not about us working about their safety, the government say, but it is about them also being safe for the others. So that's what.
Why would Congolese prefer to be here than in France?
I think it's just a case of different opportunities. Because I'll give an example for myself. My parents, I came in, I was, I think, about 12 or 13. So my parents decided to come to this country. So we just followed them as well. So I think that's that's what happened. It's not so much that there's a preferential of country, it's just where the opportunity arises for the parents or the family, and then that's where they move.
And in the background also, Congo is a war-torn country, so when people are free...
I've been to the Congo.
Yeah.
I know what Congo is.
When did you go?
Sorry?
When did you go?
It was about a decade ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So when people are fleeing persecution in a very unsafe environment, it depends on wherever they land.
No, but I think, yeah, but with migration, on one level, people go where there's an opportunity and where they can get out. But on another level, within communities, there is, the word goes around about where you can prosper. And so what I'm asking is, I'm asking you honestly. For example, let's take the Caribbean community when they moved here. Actually, here, if you were a nurse, for example, you could get more money in Canada or America, and they moved on. And a lot of them are in Brooklyn and moved. They didn't stay here particularly in the 1980s. No, it's actually in the 80s when there was recession here, and when a lot of black boys were getting caught up, not really succeeding in school. A percentage of the Caribbean community moved on. And what I see also with, I've seen Somalis move here, and then some of them move on to Holland. So I'm just asking, in truth, what your feeling is about, because I've got mixed views about whether the Congolese community is prospering in Britain. Some are prospering, but some are floundering on benefits, and benefits are being cut. So the question is, there is always a question across Europe, where are we best placed? And I just wonder what that is. Because also you've got the language here as well.
There are two things.
Not that France is great at all. A whole other set of reasons, largely to do with racism.
I think there is a first trend of Congolese who migrated to Europe. The tendency were to come to either to France or Belgium, because these are the people who were coming here in Europe to study or for proper migration, But since things started getting worse in Congo, with poverty, escalating, with insecurity, people just started migrating just in search of a better life.
And of course, anything is better than back home.
Anything that is better. The migrated across Africa, and wherever they were in Africa, where the opportunity opens to enter Europe, they go where the doors are open. Congolese who migrated from Congo to Nigeria, the opportunities were very open to come here to the UK. Those who went to Angola. So this is the first thing. And when they came here, you saw them hardly going into education. The same benefits. The language barrier was a big problem. And so now with the new generation, we see Congolese people, we are still struggling to get a better integration scheme here. So you see that there are only a limited number who are achieving better. Even in schools, when you see our Congolese children, they are underachieving, and we are one of the communities who are in the far bottoms. So this is the issue for the community, and that's where we're looking into how to help people move on.
So, to ask you, what other organizations beside the church and yourself that's there, that's providing opportunities for the younger generation?
In North London, as far as Haringey is concerned, I think here in Selby Centre we are the only organisation.
What are you doing on the? Are there any supplementary schools yet for the Congolese community?
We had a supplementary school here, but because of a limitation in space, they have moved to the Hackney town to the town hall. In the Benny Grant hall.
So there's
there's
one supplementary school you're aware of.
They are operating.
The supplementary school movement, I think I've got a lot of time for it, and that is usually the indication of suddenly you've got people gripping the education system and saying we're going to
at least take responsibility, because it is not simply about the government putting in policies, but change can only happen inside the communities when people are aware of the issues and getting involved in the process of change. So that's a big job here. It's very ambitious, but
you know what?
it starts somewhere.
Well, it starts somewhere, doesn't it? And I think
and you are welcome. I hope we keep in touch, because we need people to get something.
As I said, I'd like to do something. Very much no one's invited me to do it.
no, no.
Big way.
We're going to party through the rest of this recession. We're not buying that it's all turned around and everything's hunky-dory. You know, a lot of people are losing their jobs, and new jobs are not coming along fast enough. And I think job creation is also an area that is, you know, they just don't come out of the ether or grow on trees. And so we have to make them ourselves and start positioning. And sometimes it's homegrown businesses as well as getting the chains involved.
As well as the people who have the ideas, they need support from those who can afford to help. You know, and like I said, with what I have, the Global Garden, that was it. I had an idea and I came and it was accepted, and we can push it.
And there is also a culture within the community. You know, people they feel that if they seek help, if they come out there to say, this is what I'm going through, many people tend to take it as a weakness. You see, so we are creating also awareness of services around. That you don't need to do it on your own way. There are services around that you can access that can help and create opportunities to move on. You know. So training program available, access to language courses, and many other organizations around.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is the issues are often profound for communities. So you see in Tottenham much immigration, obviously, from all over the world. But when you've done the job for as long as I've done it, sometimes, obviously there are aspects of it that's slightly depressing, because you see communities with the same problems that other communities have, and you just sort of wish somehow that you didn't see the repetition. I suspect it feels a bit like this.
To be honest, I find it very motivating when I hear that there is capacity. I feel the capacity has grown, actually, you know, with the birth of this Congolese organisation. I think it's a good signal that there is coherent leadership, that there is a sense of direction, there's a sense of priorities, and I'm not hearing that everywhere in the voluntary sector, not in the mainstream. You know, there's a lot of investment in a large mainstream credit union that is not connecting at all. You know, these guys are showing, you know, you said, I think it was at an AGM we had here, July, preceding the riots, where you said this is the time for resilience, it's about self-help, don't go thinking you can rely on the government, and all the rest of it. And I think we've always been like that, you know, that is part of how Selby has evolved. And then we find we're like-minded, because we're finding people who've got get up and go, you know, not hanging about, not waiting for any handouts. We hate handouts, because we don't come from that place. So...
Well, it always comes with strings.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, I think there's a massive vacuum locally with business support. There's a lot more enterprises that could come about, you know. And instead of it having some external agency, if it was located in a grassroots environment, you find actually there'll be a large demand for more space at the Selby Centre.
And again, we're trying to promote civic participation, because, you know, there are a lot of Congolese people who are British citizens now, and we're telling people that shouldn't be having also the outlook of simply being a Congolese, but you are part of this one, the community as a British citizen. should be contributing something as a citizen of this country. So,
just wondering on that note, before we wind up, actually to hear from two lovely ladies here, as young people involved in these projects.
oh, right.
To put you on the spot when
Thanks a lot, James. You can get him later.
I'm Cynthia Kams. I'm one of the boss brothers, and I'm one of the organizers of Congolese Achievement Award. I was the presenter as well. My background is a bit different. I grew up in Germany, and I moved to UK about 4 years ago.
Why?
Racism. And I'm a fighter.
How bad was it?
I grew up in a small city. I went there when I was about 2, 3.
Which city?
Jülich. It's near Aachen, near Cologne. So it's really small. So we were the first black people living in Jülich actually. And I left Jülich when I was 21, and I couldn't get a job. Like in the city, in the magazine, I just couldn't get a job. Even though my sister was the first black person to graduate from a higher education school in that country, after being there for only 6 months. So she went there. And then in Germany there's many steps of school, like
I know
below,
German,
So she was on the house, and she said, no, I need to change because I'm intelligent. So she changed. She was, she had a degree. She was in the news. Everyone knew my mom. Everyone knew me, my brothers. But I still couldn't get a job, and it was getting just too much. The people I went to the kindergarten.
Are your family still in Germany?
Yes.
They still there?
They're still there. So everyone,
Have
I
they
think
got jobs?
for the boys it's different because,
Okay.
boys, German girls just love boys. So, it's easy. It is. So, you might end up having friends just because of your brothers.
Yes.
And I had 2 brothers, really tall
Yes,
and white.
yes.
And everyone was just like,
Yes, I know. What you mean, yes.
So we had,
Were
that's
they
why it was.
sporty?
It was. My
Yeah.
brother was, before.
How's it go?
I remember one time. I think I remember one time I finished school early, and it was in the summer, so we went to, we went off the bus, and there was a basketball place. So my brother was playing basketball without a t-shirt. So I was like, hey, and I hugged him, and I had about 10 people sitting there just to look at my brother how he's playing basketball. One time I got slapped from a boy, and 5 hours came to say sorry. They went on the news to say sorry, don't tell your brother. So I was respected because of my brother, but me myself I wasn't. As a girl I wasn't, and bullying, a lot of bullying, and you get that a lot. And
so you came here, and how have you found it here?
Much more better, because I feel like here I'm not by myself, but I'm supported.
Yeah.
Because I can be, I can have a job, and I see another black person that it makes me just happy. You go in a bank, you see a black person that it makes you happy. You're like, I'm home, and you would never see in Germany.
You need to go and hang out in Surrey.
It'll be fun then. You can teach them a few things.
Yeah, that's great.
So when you come here, you just see other opportunities, and you start.
And how do you feel about the community here?
In compared to Germany, in Germany, everyone just is together, and everyone is really like, I'm proud to be Congolese. So you have much more groups. For example, if we have church seminar, everyone will come. Even if you're not Christian, you will just come because everyone is there. And here in London, just because it's much more bigger and there's more people, it's kind of dispersed, east, south, and west. Even for us to do the Congolese Achievement Award, not anyone could do it because we had to gain the trust of the young people. And everyone of you, because me, I'm from the outside, I came, people would trust me. We have a lot of people from Germany who live here, from France, from Belgium. So they say, she understands us because, we moved to England just about 4 or 5 years ago. And both boys are big respected people. He worked with, he went to Kojo to school, he knows Eddie Kadi because they've been working together. So these famous and professional people trust him, and that's why we could manage to get everyone together. So this is the first step of the Congolese Achievement Award. But with the trust that we earn from everyone else, now we are ready to do even more.
My name is Priscilla. I'm the daughter of Lammy. I came here when I was 2. Lived in London basically all my life, and Congo Impact is a good environment for the young people. It gives out like a sense of what you want to do in the future. I'm a student.
Where are you?
We're in university.
Yeah, which one?
Westminster, studying business accounting. And yeah, I think it's a good idea that bringing young people together to see where the help can come from. So it's a good opportunity.
Very good.
What you said earlier about why people like to immigrate to UK is the feedback from UK is just very good, because the best university are in London. So I know a lot of people who are just leaving Germany and France to come and study here. And so we have one friend, Nancy, and she has a good job, and she left me, I think, about 3.
Yeah, she got a first class.
But you know, everyone that I see has a job, and if not, they're. That's why I hope when I finish uni, I hope I will have a job.
Quite positive about.
If, as long as you're in school and you're serious about it, then you'll be fine.
Also, it's about the experience.
That's
You know, it's getting the experience.
I could have chose not to study it, so you just.
No, it's not. I mean, I suppose what I think is another issue is I don't think that the truth is the working environment in London, obviously it's huge, it's a big city, there's lots of opportunities, but the other side of it is it is fiercely competitive. And I don't think sufficient is communicated within communities, within schools, just within the broader environment as to how competitive and tough it is. It doesn't mean it can't be overcome, but it means in London, on the whole, when my constituents are competing for jobs, they're competing with young people from France, from Spain, from Poland, from Australia, from New Zealand. It is seriously competitive for any young person. And you kind of have to come to terms with that and understand that. Therefore, you have to be pretty focused. And then the other thing we don't do so well, some communities are better than others. It may well be that the Congolese is not so bad. Is this business that Sonya's been talking about of actually, I don't like the word actually because it kind of makes it all sound very fancy and everyone's got to be a Bill Gates, but you've got to be also entrepreneurial. So if you're not able to get a job, you have to generate your own job, and there are too many people sitting at home not really thinking they can do anything when they can do stuff. That's what you expect when you come to one of the world's, well, probably the world's biggest global city. That is the truth of being here in London. And I don't think that rings out in quite as powerful a way as sometimes it needs to. That's part of the deal. You want to be here. Do you know what I mean?
I think now with the cut of all the benefits, people are waking up.
Yeah, right, okay.
In the Congolese community, you see more women working than men. More women are like, they stand up, they support their kids with school, with everything. So sometimes we do have to understand that, you know, a mother cannot do everything, but she needs help. But in our Congolese community, women stand up, they work more. And now with the benefit cap, even the dad are like, okay, now it's serious, now we need to do something. So I think in the next 5 years coming, we will have a big change.
Yes, that's interesting. The gender difference is important, of course. Not unfamiliar in the wider black communities. The women are bearing the load.
Because in a way, underneath the churn, there is money in our communities. We can make that pound stretch very far, you know. So it's quite thriving in a way, you know, to be in this position, and lots of experiences are open to be had, you know, at our level with this leadership that we've got now in your organisation. So you should feel good because a lot of hard work's already been done, and these guys, I think you're smart. If you're doing business accountancy, I know you've got solid work experience, right?
Time, have we got?
Yeah. How are we doing?
I think let's
Let's move on. Yeah, great.
Okay.
Great.
Brilliant.
Thank you. See you again.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Great.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Great.